we had discussed about contact center technology. We had discussed about what are contact centers and why they are needed. We had discussed what kind of call centers can be there, inbound, outbound, hybrid, etc. We also touched upon that today the contact centers are not only limited to voice, but also chat, social media, WhatsApp integration. So all those things are possible. Uh, then we spoke about specifically what is the contact center technology and how does it help to allow a contact center to function. We tried to also look at the different components, the backend components or the backend servers and services that are needed for a contact center technology to work. After that, we discussed in the last session, we had discussed about the telephony part. So because our main focus right now is how the voice calls are made between people who are on their mobile phones and the people who are sitting in the office. So we spoke about the telephony part. We saw how the telephony evolved over years from normal PSTN lines to ISDN lines to VoIP and finally to WebRTC. So today what we are going to discuss is how this telephony is integrated with the contact center. Okay. So when I say integrated with the contact center, it simply means that there must be something happening which allows these calls from the mobile phones to reach someone sitting in the office. Okay. So one thing that is very certain is that you can have a contact center in which people are using mobile phones to make calls and receive calls, but it is possible only for a very small use case. Say a company having 4 people or 5 people, right? There it is possible that the team simply have their mobile phones and they use it. But again, it is not a good idea because these mobile numbers that keep on changing. And generally, what you really want is that if you are having a established organization, your inbound number, which is published on your websites, on your print material, on your brochures. So that is the standard number. So people want a dedicated number for that as well. Okay. But once your size grows above 5 or 10, 20 people, then it is impossible to just manage things like that. You need a centralized system which allows you to allows people to have desk phones and allows someone who is making a call from a mobile, the customer may be on the mobile phone. He calls in and the call will land on a desk phone of an agent, right? Similarly, from his screen or his desk phone, I am able to call someone outside. That is what is really desired. Okay. So contact center depend on voice as the primary communication channel. Integration ensures seamless call routing, agent allocation, CRM pop-ups, and call logging. Without tight integrations, agent would need to switch tools and manual workflows would cause delays. Okay. One disclaimer is that we will take a look at ISDN integration also. But because today most of the things have been migrated to VoIP, so we can actually we will not spend too much time on ISDN integration and focus more on VoIP. So when we talk about what all is needed or for this integration to happen, so one thing is telco, the telephony service providers. In India, you know them like Jio, Airtel, even BSNL, okay, even Vodafone. In India, the same people who are giving the mobile connections, the same people are giving the enterprise telephony connections as well. Then we have something called a media gateway or a session border controller, SBC as we call it. Media gateways are required in case of ISDN termination, and session border controllers are required for SIP termination, but not compulsory. Then we need something like a soft switch or a PBX because this device will actually take the incoming lines from the telco and help them divide to the different people in the organization. Then we have something called a contact center software, that is the entire brain of the system. So our contact center software, if you remember the architecture, it's a central piece. This software is controlling everything, all the integration points, all the touch points, the databases, the agent UI, everything is synchronized and controlled by this software. And finally, yes, we have a CRM and we have an agent UI. The agent UI receives the call, and the CRM helps to display the data of the call based on the caller ID. So this all components are needed for this integration to happen. So this is what we are recalling. This is our main architecture that we discussed the last time. And right now our focus area is over here. We'll be talking about call server, telephony service provider, and customer phone. Right? This is where your telephony lines are getting integrated with your contact center setup. Okay. Now ISDN integration with contact center. So now we are kind of expanding this part. Okay. In the next slides. So ISDN lines, if you remember, these are dedicated lines. ISDN lines, we spoke about even, we spoke about PRI lines, even lines. And we also spoke about that these are dedicated channels, right? So from your telco, a separate line comes. Normally we call it as a trunk. Okay. See, this goes into some kind of an ISDN device at your end. So telco will put the way we put Wi-Fi router at your homes today. Similarly, in telco case, for ISDN lines, they will put a ISDN modem or a ISDN router, whatever you can call it, on your premises. And from this ISDN line, one more line comes, which is actually the even line. Okay. And this goes into your PBX. It can go into your media gateway. It can go into your soft switch. All these three combinations are possible. This soft switch that you can see, this server is nothing but our call server. Okay. So now how this integration is happening. So PBX, I think we had discussed earlier. So PBX is the device which can allow you to take even lines as input on one side and distribute them through the normal copper wiring throughout the floor. Okay. So this is, and then what happens is that this PBX, if it allows, it can be integrated directly with our call center application server. Okay. So this is a difficult integration because PBX generally is a traditional technology, whereas our contact center application servers are the latest technologies. So in some scenarios, this integration is very complicated. The other way to terminate ISDN lines is using a media gateway. So media gateway, as we know, gateway is the word here. So gateway is a device which actually translates one technology to the other technology. In this case, we use PRI to VoIP media gateway or even to SIP media gateway, right? Now this media gateway, what it does, it has got, if it is there, yeah. So this is like a media gateway. So it has got these ports in them where you can plug in the ISDN lines, and on the other ports you can plug in your LAN cables. So as we know, VoIP is something that is voice over IP. It works on LAN. So through this LAN cable, we can connect this to our call server, which is SIP enabled. So the telco lines in a way are converted to a SIP technology itself. Okay. The last part, how we can terminate the even lines is using a PRI card. So what happens is that, as we remember, we discussed about call soft switch earlier. So this PRI card is a device that it's a card. It's kind of a LAN card if you have seen before. You can put that into your PCI slot of your server. Okay. So this PRI card, and you can terminate your even lines on this card. Basically, this is a 2-3 step process where you will put your PRI card, you will install the drivers, you will put the call center software, and then simply once the calls then can reach the agent phone, and in case of IP phone, so basically after this call server, everything is normal LAN connectivity because everything is SIP. Okay, so this part here is all SIP. So basically you are just uh, putting the output on the normal LAN of your office. So this is how your ISDN integration will work. If you encounter it some point of time, you might recall these slides. So this is an example of this soft switch that I was speaking with you with. So PBX are so one question can be, what is a soft switch? So when you will enter the what you say the domain, you can also use the word soft switch, and you can also use the word call server. They almost mean the same thing. Uh, so what we say is, traditionally we all used to use a PBX device to terminate these lines, but it is a specialized electronic device, right? So uh, so you have to actually go and purchase a separate PBX and then integrate it. But what happened was that around 2000s, our capacity of our servers started growing. Capacity means that we could have much more RAM, much more hard disk, much more CPU. So these things were very, very expensive earlier, but now they started becoming more cheaper uh, if you compare the unit cost. Okay, so suddenly you were able to have a 8-core server. Suddenly you were able to have 8 GB RAM on your server, right? So today we have all these things on our mobile phones, but there was a time when these things were very, very expensive, and even getting them on the servers was a big, big achievement. But as the capacities grew, so people thought that why to have special devices? Anyways, these PBX don't have that much RAM and don't have that much CPU. So people started developing softwares that would allow our normal Linux server to act like a call server. And we started calling them a soft switch because these are software based. Okay. So now to terminate the even lines, we needed a special card because even we know is a separate technology. So people developed, if it is there, yeah. So this is the even card. As you can see, it comes in various form factors. So one port, 2 port, 3 port, 4 port, even 8 port cards are there. So 1 port means one even line can terminate. So one even line means 30 concurrent calls can be made. Okay. So now this is the PCI slot on your server. If you remember, I had shown, you would have seen this in the motherboard part, if you remember it. So these are the PCI slots. Simply you attach your card on these PCI slots. Okay. And then you will install the driver for these cards. Normally, these drivers are available as tar balls. So you download them, you compile them on your server. Most of these things are well documented. You just have to follow the steps one after the other. And you need to have some Linux knowledge. Uh, Broadly, that is about it. And then finally, your card will come up. You will attach your even lines, you will test them, and that's about it. Okay. So these are the few things that we need. Now moving on to VoIP termination, right? So as we are saying that gradually everything is moving to VoIP. So one thing that when we terminate even lines, we know that each even has got 30 dedicated channels in it. So when there are 30 dedicated channels in it, the normal lingo with telco is that I want 100 channels from you, I want 150 channels from you, depending upon my organization. So if I have a call center that is of 150 people, I might go and say that I want a 160 channel setup, taking 10 as a buffer. Or maybe if I know that I never use the full capacity, I might just go for 120 channel setup. But then came VoIP. So basically now telco can give you straight away VoIP connection on your enterprises. So when you talk about VoIP, again, there may be a device that telco might put. So similar to your Wi-Fi router, they will put a device in your office. From there, a LAN connection will come. Because we are talking about VoIP now, we are no longer talking about any special thing, right? This can simply come and plug into our LAN ports. So again, with VoIP, IPPBX were also developed. IPPBX again work on VoIP. So they can take VoIP as input. No longer we need only ISDN as input or a port. So very similar to that, we can use an IPPBX. We can terminate our telco lines on that, VoIP lines, and then we can distribute them on our in our users. And we can also connect this IPPBX with our contact center application server. Again, a complex integration, but it is possible. One more way to do is that you put a session border controller. Now this is optional. This is only used in a very, very large setup scenario. Basically, session border controller is kind of a SIP termination point. It has got a lot of security thing in it, and it can distribute things, to multiple points. So maybe a setup in which you are talking about 10,000 concurrent calls, right? They might put such kind of a device. Otherwise, in a normal scenario, we normally don't do it. Last part is that, which is the simplest thing, is that you simply terminate your VoIP line directly into your soft switch. So soft switch means your call server. Your call server generally has got 4 LAN ports. On one of the LAN ports, you will terminate the line from the telco. And from the other LAN port, you will take the connection to your network switch, right? So this becomes the simplest of the setups. Okay. This is what is more and more prevalent now. We don't use any multiple devices today when doing a normal contact center setup. For large pieces, yes, we might put this session border controllers. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, because these things are important for you to understand. Fine. So last part is that what is happening today. So today, one thing that we always spoke about VoIP and SIP was that VoIP and SIP needed a SIP device. So you need this IP phone, you need this soft phone, right? Today, people are now moving to WebRTC. So WebRTC, as we read, WebRTC is simply your browser, which is now enabled to handle voice and media and video. So now you don't even need a SIP phone. Don't even need a IP phone. Yes, there are some special configurations needed on your call server to make this WebRTC enabled or support WebRTC. So from the telco perspective, this channel becomes a VoIP channel, and this channel will become a WebRTC channel. And people will simply log into their browsers and start making calls. That's it. So this is what is WebRTC. It has got a lot of advantages. One, this is secure. So the connection between the browser of the agent and the server is very secure. We can easily make calls over, just like you make a call like this meet call that we are having with each other. Similarly, you can have calls with your end customers from your browser itself, and this has really made the contact center, the cloud contact center, very practical. Okay, and this is where everything is going to move. So just looking at it from a perspective of a call flow, what is going to happen? So from the telco side, now in this diagram, you will see I have not represented anything after telco. So what we are saying is, yes, a call is coming. We don't know how that call is coming to our call server. What we only are bothered about, yes, a call is coming. Our call server will receive that call. Our call server is normally continuously in touch with our application server. So application, so there will be an IVR or some kind of a thing. And basis that the logic, whatever call routing logic we have built up, the call can go to the agent, whether it can be a WebRTC call or a SIP call. Okay. Always remember that in a contact center setup, the calls are established separately for the customer side and agent side. And once both legs are up, they are bridged by the call server. Okay. So always what you're saying is that this is a customer call leg. This call is established first in case of an incoming scenario. So once your call lands on your call server and you start playing that IVR message or some greeting message, this call is established. At some point of time, when you have to transfer the call to the agent, a separate call is initiated from the call server to the agent, maybe a SIP call or a WebRTC call. And once this call is picked by the agent, then your call server simply bridges these calls. All this is logic is controlled by what? Controlled by the application server. Okay. In turn, the application server might refer to the database server for the configuration that you have decided. So at the time when you first of all set up your campaigns or processes on the setup, you would have put in the configurations that would have been stored in the database. Application server will read those configurations and kind of control the entire logic. Okay. Similarly, if you talk about the outbound flow, right? Normally in the outbound flow, if you take an example of a manual call, generally in a contact center setup, you don't use your mobile phones or your to make a call, right? Or mobile phone or even a desk phone, right? You don't dial in number as you will normally dial in. Normally, you always initiate the call from your screen, the agent UI. That agent UI is connected to your application server. So the request is received by the application server, and then it sends the instruction to the call server to initiate these calls, right? So in some scenarios, the first call that is established is with the agent, so that we know that once we call the customer, our agent is already connected. And once the agent leg is up, we initiate a call on customer leg, the telco side, they pick up the call, and again, both calls are merged. So this is what is the outbound call flow in a typical outbound flow in a contact center setup. So this is what is happening. Next coming up is the agent system. Something that we all need to understand when you are going to work with in a company, and you have to support people who are working on as a call center agents. So there are certain requirements of their systems. Obviously, once you will enter the product training and you will enter the product support, before that also you will get this knowledge, but I am giving you a brief. So this agent system that a person is using for making and receiving calls, it is connected to multiple things, right? So in case of WebRTC, for example, it is connected to the call server also. If you're using a soft phone, again, it will be connected to a call server. Anyways, it is connected to your application server. Okay. And maybe you are also accessing your third-party services like emails, a CRM server. Maybe if you're a bank, there is a banking system at the back end, right? So even this connection is there. It is separate to your call contact center setup. So all the ports and all the configurations, all the firewalls. So if your system is having a firewall, for example, or an antivirus, then these antivirus and firewalls have to be configured to allow for these ports that are used by all these services that the system has to use. Okay. At times, it's a very common problem that suddenly some firewall or some antivirus starts blocking these requests, and there are not a lot of issues that happen. Okay, so we have to remember that our agent systems becomes very important in case of a SIP setup and a WebRTC setup, because now everything is there. Second thing is that your agent systems have to be good in performance also, right? So it cannot be possible that your agent systems are low on hardware. Maybe they are running only with 1 CPU, or maybe they are having just 2 GB of RAM, and they are opening all these applications, and so everything is going to become slow. In case of if you're using soft phone or using a WebRTC, if your system itself is slow, then again the quality of voice will be impacted, which we don't want. So what are the key challenges in telephony integration? There are protocol mismatches, there are codec and bandwidth issues, there are firewall and NAT issues, telco limitations, and regulatory challenges, right? Especially for cloud contact center in India. So these are the key challenges that we face, and we have to overcome them. So as I've told you, so if you are so whenever you are using protocols, ISDN, so it has to be correctly convert it to VoIP and terminate it onto your call server. Even if you are using SIP at both sides, the codec and the bandwidth must be taken care of. In case of VoIP, we don't talk in number of channels, we talk in number of bandwidth. Today, the most common codec we use is ALO codec because bandwidth is abundantly available. So for every call, we consume 64 kbps per call. So if we have a 100-seater call center making 100 concurrent calls, so we need 64 kbps into 100, maybe around 6.4 mbps bandwidth throughput also there. Firewall and NAT. So firewall and NATs can cause a lot of problems, especially in case of WebRTC. So those, whatever standard configurations are there, they must be there. At times, telco might be having problems and so on, and regulatory challenges. So in India, you cannot do a call, a VoIP call between your call server and your agent system if they are not on the same LAN. Okay, so a cloud contact center is a concept in which you put all your components of the cloud technology on cloud. Right, means your call server is also on cloud in some data center, centralized data center. But our compliances say that if that is the case, then your agent cannot do a SIP call or a WebRTC call with that call server. Okay, so what happens is that in such scenarios, these landline phones, right, that we have for the agent, right? So even these calls are made over the telco itself, right? So what I'm saying is that even this call will come like this. Yeah. So even the agent call will be established like this, not directly. The reason being is that we cannot directly do this call because this is bypassing the telco. So we will actually initiate. So this agent phone, desk phone, right, that we have in our office, or even agent mobile phone that we have at office, it's a separate phone, not connected to our contact center, and we will simply make a call on this particular phone. So this is how the call will be made in that scenario. Okay, so this you will get more idea when you will start understanding the ACE phone product and how the calls are being made. But this is one challenge that we all have especially in India. Otherwise, if you talk about international setup, then these agents can be anywhere and these things can be anywhere. All you need is the IP connectivity. So that is very advantageous. So in summary, integration happens at signaling, media, and API levels. ISDN uses hardware-based termination. SIP is software-defined. WebRTC allows agent flexibility in cloud environments. Soft switches like Asterisk are the bridge between telco and agent, right? And so the soft switch that we were mentioning, so Asterisk is one of the soft switch. And modern systems use APIs for call control, recording, CTA, and CRM. Okay.